The following episode of Dad vs. Daughter was made possible by a contribution from USAopoly.
Hello and welcome to another special preview episode of Dad vs. Daughter. I'm Tim the Dad, and Megan actually has a summer job, so Dad's going to be doing this one solo. So today we're going to take a special look at Munchkin Marvel and its first two expansions. Now these are from USAopoly and Steve Jackson Games, so let's open it up and see what kind of superheroes we get to play with. The Munchkin Marvel Edition is going to allow for up to 6 players. You can see here we have our 6 Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. cards, plus we have the markers to track your level. We also have a shield die included, and the player cards are double-sided so that you can be either male or female. And I think everyone will probably agree that that's supposed to be Agent Coulson. Phil to his friends. The game comes with a huge stack of door cards. You can see here. The door cards are essentially broken out into 6 different types of categories: powers, monsters, traps, cheats, affiliation, and monster enhancers. There are 41 monsters or villains that come with Munchkin Marvel that range in levels from 1 up until 20, and with the exception of the level 1s, they are all even levels. So you go from, you have 1, 2, 4, 6, all the way up to 20. Here are more of the mid-level monsters or villains for levels 6 up through level 10. I do want to point out the Winter Soldier there will be one of Megan's favorites to go up against because it's Bucky, and she likes Bucky. Now we're getting into the pretty bad dudes. We have level 12 Kingpin that goes all the way up to level 16 Malekith. At least I hope I'm pronouncing him right. Fans of the Hulk movie will notice Abomination there in the middle, and we have Norman Osborn from Spider-Man. Now we get to the worst of the bunch. We have level 18 Red Skull and Ultron, and level 20 Loki, which again will be one of Megan's favorite cards because she likes Loki so much. Next, there are 16 trap cards that come in the game. Here you see 15 of those. And then I also want to point out this one here, Hail Hydra, because just today during a game where I was getting ready to go for the win and get my 10th level, my good buddy Dwight, who you've heard me talk about many times, decided to throw this trap on me, and I lost 2 levels and was not able to win on that turn. There are 11 monster enhancer cards. There are includes 4 wandering monsters, so you get to, if you have a wandering monster, you can throw that down and throw another monster down from your hand on yourself or against an opponent, and that will give you more treasures. You can also modify the power. You can give +5 to a monster, or you give +10 to a monster, and you're going to get certain effects with those. Like the +5 gives you the ability to draw 1 extra treasure. The +10 allows you to draw 2 extra treasures. You have a -5, which means you'll draw 1 fewer treasure, and then a couple of other cards that will affect the monsters as well. Cheat cards are basically allow you to cheat by breaking a rule. So if I had both of my hands full with weapons and I had another card that would say was a 2-handed weapon, I could play a cheat on that, which would allow me to put that card in play. Or, you know, any of the other equipment that you have that you wouldn't normally be able to use on that turn. And then finally we have the affiliation. So in this set we have the Avengers, Spider Friends, and Inhumans, as well as the team up cards, which basically allow us to team up the 2 different affiliations. So your character could be an Avenger and a Spider Friend, or an Inhuman and a Spider Friend. Or if you only have one of the affiliations, the team up will let you basically have all the good stuff for that affiliation and suffer none of the bad things. Now that we've taken a look at all the door cards, let's look at the treasure deck, and you'll notice there is actually quite a bit in there. So let's take a look at each individual type of card that we get in the treasure deck. Okay, the first two treasure cards I want to talk about are the Infinity Stones. Here we have the Power Gem and the Mind Gem. Now, the Power Gem will allow you to have any number of powers regardless of whatever your rank is. And the Mind Gem basically allows you to discard 3 cards and force another player to help you. Now, there is a trade-off because they're going to be able to pick which treasure they want first, but you're controlling them, so they got to get a little something out of it, right? Here are a couple of specialty treasure cards. The utility belt allows you to have any number of cards in your hand, so you don't have to worry about the hand limit there. And then steal a level, that's pretty much self-explanatory. You get to steal a level from another player. Okay, so these are our go up a level. There are 8 of these. We have a couple that are geared to the Avengers. We've got some Shield. We've got a couple Spider-Man. We've got one that is associated with Hulk. And then the Terrigenesis, which is with the Inhumans. Next, we have our allies. This is our first batch of allies. You'll notice a lot of these are Avengers centric. We have Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, She-Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Nick Fury. And our second batch of allies here, we have a lot of characters you may be familiar with if you watched Captain America Civil War. We have Spider-Man, The Vision, Ant-Man, Black Panther, whose trailer for his movie just came out the other day, Captain Marvel, and Daredevil. And I noticed that Falcon actually got mixed in with another group of cards, so there is Falcon as an ally. So now we see different headgear that we have. Of course, we have Loki's helmet and Thor's helmet, Nick Fury's eye patch, Ant-Man's helmet, and Black Bolt's tuning fork. Moving on to the armor, we have Iron Man's Model 1 and 51st armor. We have Falcon's wingsuit and some things to deal with Spider-Man. We've got Spidey's suit, the symbiote suit, and Doc Ock's tentacle suit. Okay, so let's take a look at the one-handed bonuses. We have Iron Man's repulsor. We have Mjolnir, which is Thor's hammer, or as Megan likes to call it, Mew Mew. We have Captain America's shield. We have War Machine's wrist rocket. We have the Widow's bite, Daredevil's billy club, the shield pistol, Kraven's spear, and Claw's sonic blaster. We have 4 of the two-handed bonuses. We have Spider-Man's web shooters and Mandarin's rings, along with Hawkeye's bow and Absorbing Man's ball and chain. Okay, only 3 foot items. We have the 7 League boots, Green Goblin's goblin glider, and Namor's ankle wings. There you can see the various one-shots that are the +5 or the +3 bonuses, or the ones that cancel traps, like the Spidey Sense. And there's also a couple of +2s and some where you can do either side, some to add to monsters. So a lot of different variety there. So now that we've completed our look at the Munchkin Marvel base set, let's look at the expansions. So first up, let's look at the Mystic Mayhem expansion. So this expansion introduces a new card type called Dungeons, and you can see here there are 12 of those. Now those have different effects. You're going to start with that with one dungeon at the start of the game, and then you're going to shuffle the rest of them up, and you're going to have a deck of those, and just show you this is what the back of those look like. So really cool artwork on that. But we have Asgard, Savage Land, Limbo, the Svarthelm, the Sanctum Sanctorum, Wakanda, K'un-Lun, the Dark Dimension, the Raft, the Helicarrier, Manhattan, which is really cool because it's got Stark Tower there, and then we also have Atlantis. Now, those dungeons can change. We're either going to be in one or we're going to be in another, and we have new card types called portals that are going to kind of change that up. So let's look at the portals now. There are 8 portals in the game, and each one will cause you to basically discard the current dungeon and put a new one into play. Now, each of the portal cards also has special other things that happen as well, like if a certain card is on the table, then you do this or that. Kind of like the traps from the base set, but they have a little different flavor to them, and like I said, they allow you to change whatever the current dungeon is and put a new dungeon into play. Now, like the trap cards, whenever you kick the door down and you turn over a portal card, you're going to resolve that immediately. So you'll do what it says on the card, and then probably put a new dungeon in, because all of these like I said, have you change the dungeon. If you are looting the room instead, you can choose to either flip it over and resolve that action, or you can put it in your hand and use it on one of your future turns. As long as it's your turn, you're not in combat, and you haven't already played a portal that turn. So as you can see, we have a new affiliation, the Defenders. There's 4 cards for that. We have 2 team-ups and 2 Wandering Monster cards. So this expansion comes with 6 new traps. So you can see we have Ragnarok, Damage Control, Banished, Chaos Magic, Dark Rain, and Fear itself. We have 3 +5s to a monster and a +10 to monster. Here we have our power cards. We have 3 that are power rank 1. We have 3 that are power rank 2, 2 that are power rank 3, and 1 power rank 4. So we have 18 new monsters or bad guys that we're going to fight, and those include the Hammer Agent, King Cobra, Dracula, the Hand, the Punisher, the Hood, Elektra, Morbius, the Enchantress, Black Cat, Morgan Le Fay, Baron Mordo, Satanish, Hela, Damon Hellstrom, Satur, Mephisto, and Dormammu. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Now, I don't know if you can see on some of these cards, like Dracula, he says he is undead, and Satanish is a demon. Now, those guys have a little special thing with them. They're new card types. So what you can do with those is when you have an undead monster that's in combat, you can basically put another undead monster down instead of using a wandering monster card. So basically you can really mess with people by having all these undeads or these demons come into play. We have 7 new ally cards. We have Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Spider-Woman, and Blade. So I know Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Daredevil are in the Defenders group. Daredevil is in the base set, so the only person we're really missing here is Jessica Jones. 2 new headgear. We have the Serpent Crown and the Flaming Skull. So the armor we have here is all related to Doctor Strange. We have Dormammu's mantle. We have the Cloak of Levitation, which was almost its own character in the Doctor Strange movie, which was in there for some comedic elements. And we have the Eye of Agamotto. Our one-handed items are the Book of Vishanti, the Orb of Agamotto. We have the Wicked Wand of Watum. We have Ebony Blade, the Soul Sword, Dragon Fang, and Excalibur. Our two-handed items include Ghost Rider's Chain, the Staff of One, Yarbjorn, and the Sword of Twilight. A couple of items for our feet. We have the Hell Cycle, and we have Dormammu's Boots. In the base set, we had 2 of the Infinity Stones. Here we have 2 more. We have the Soul Gem, which allows you to have any number of allies, and we have the Reality Gem, which basically makes you immune to traps and bad stuff. We have 5 new one-shots to include in the treasure deck, and we have 4 new Go Up a Level cards. Alright, so now let's take a look at the last expansion, which is the Cosmic Chaos. In this set, we have 12 new dungeons. And I'm not going to go through all of their names because, frankly, I know I've probably been mispronouncing quite a few, so I'll just highlight that we have, Titan, we have Xandar, we have Hala, we have Nowhere, which, if you're familiar with Guardians of the Galaxy, and then we have the Universal Church of Truth. Once again, we have 8 new portal cards here, and those allow us again to cause the current dungeon to be discarded. But I want to point out this Gasket of Ancient Winters, because it says if it's December, January, or February, which would be the winter months, all players lose a level, then discard the dungeon in play and draw a new one to replace it. I just think that's, it's very almost Flux-like, but it's one of those, I think it's going to be funny because you're going to be playing it, throughout the year and, in the summer, and that's not going to have any effect really. But when you play it in those months, then, hey, guess what? It kicks in. This set also comes with a new affiliation. We have the Guardians of the Galaxy, so I know Megan's really happy about that. We have a couple more Wandering Monster cards, a couple of Team Up cards. We have a cheat, which there was also an additional cheat in the last expansion, and I didn't cover that on camera. But then we also have this new Eternity card. So basically that's, I don't care what you're going to throw at me. I'm going to throw this down, and all monsters and cards played on this current combat are gone, and I get to draw 2 treasure cards. So that's a really good card to have when somebody just is hammering on you, especially towards the end of the game. This expansion also comes with 6 new trap cards, and I like to look at the art on this one because there's Star-Lord's helmet just kind of drifting off. So we have a +5 and a +10 to the monster, plus we have 2 variable ones. Now, I'm not going to tell you what those are because I want to leave that as a surprise, but trust me when I say they're nasty. And just as in the last expansion, we have 9 new power cards. We have 3 that are rank 1, 3 that are rank 2, 2 that are rank 3, and 1 that is ranked 4. We have 18 new monsters or bad guy cards. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I do want to point out we have level 1 J. Jonah Jameson, which I don't know that I necessarily consider him a bad guy. He's just kind of a jerk. We have Nebula, which Megan will definitely be pleased to see that is in there. We have, the Collector from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. We have, who else we got there? We've got the Chitauri from the first Avengers movie, the Kree. We have Thanos as our level 20 bad guy. So we know when push comes to shove, somebody's going to throw Thanos down, and he's going to cause us a lot of problems. So let's take a look at our allies now. Of course, we have the 5 members of the Guardians of the Galaxy: Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Rocket Raccoon, and of course Groot. And we also have Quasar, Cosmo the Space Dog, which you saw in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie with the Collector, Medusa, and Nova. A couple of items we can wear in our head. We have Star-Lord's mask and the World Mind. Our armor is the Destroyer armor, which if you saw the first Thor movie, you saw the Destroyer in that. And we also have Iron Man's Model 45 space armor. Here's a look at our one-handed items. Our two-handed items, which includes Drax's blade. And finally, 1 pair of nice, bright, shiny jet boots. We have 5 new one-shots, which includes Rocket's Arsenal and the Yaku Arrow. So here's a couple of specialty cards. We have Customize and Highly Customized. Now these are going to allow us to give some of our items extra bonus. This set also includes 3 Go Up a Level cards. This expansion also has the final 2 Infinity Stones. We have the Time Gem, which allows you to go through your discard pile and pull any monster that's in there from the door discard back into your hand. And then we have the Space Gem, which allows you to discard the dungeon that's in play and put a new one in. Now, the last thing to point out, you can see we have 6 of the gems here. There is also a promo card for the Infinity Gauntlet. I want to show you that here in the rule book. So if you were lucky enough to be able to get this Infinity Gauntlet promo, and if you can get all 6 of these Infinity Gems, guess what? You win immediately as soon as you have those. So that might be a card that you want to seek out, because I think you're probably not going to mix a lot of these all together unless you want one huge big Munchkin game. I'm not sure you want to necessarily do that. I could see mixing in the sets with the base game, one or the other, but I can also see making sure that you always play with all 6 Infinity Gems, especially if you have the Infinity Gauntlet. This is a solo review of Munchkin Marvel because Megan hasn't had a chance to actually play this yet. But I have introduced this to my game group at work, and it's been a hit. Now, we haven't played with the 2 expansions yet. We've only played with the base, but it has gone over very well. Munchkin's one of those games that can really kind of go long, and we've been able to actually play this one faster than normal versions of Munchkin. I'm not really sure why. That's just kind of the way it's worked out. Plus, everyone really loves the theme. I mean, we're all, I don't want to say we're comic book geeks, but most of us really enjoy the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Marvel TV shows. This really, with the expansions, really covers everything I think that we've seen on both the big and the small screen. And they're characters we can all identify. You know, we know who Captain America is, we know who Thor is, we know Spider-Man and Iron Man, and we're now learning, you know, some of these secondary characters like Doctor Strange and the Guardians of the Galaxy through the movies and such. So it's been a big hit. The artwork on the cards is really cool. The components, with the die with the shield emblem on it is really neat, and the new dungeons that the expansions offer, I think, really enhances the game. And there's a lot of playability because you've got 12 different dungeons in each of the expansions, so that's 24. So that's really going to change things up. So it's not going to be the same old game, time after time. So definitely, if you have the base set, you're going to want the other two expansions. And like I said, you're probably going to also want to pick up Munchkin X-Men. And if you would like to see more about that, go check out our video on that. But that is Munchkin Marvel, and we will catch you guys next time. If you would like to support us, you can visit patreon.com/dadvdaughter.
Like and follow us on Facebook to stay current on our show schedule, sneak peeks at future shows, and to interact with us.